Okay.
Okay. So we thought we'd do a video just explaining from parents' perspective a little bit about the story behind Maddison and the beast and all the emotions that went with it. So often what you see on one video doesn't really give you a whole picture and a full understanding of our side of the story and what it was like getting to that point. So we thought we'd share that with you. So let's go from the beginning.
We never expected to get the response that we got from everyone. You know, like that was the Maddison we knew and the Maddison we know. And so that was very normal for us, seeing her reaction like that. But we never realized the impact that a little girl like Maddison would have on so many people, and her feelings and emotions of just something so simple as the beast retiring from rugby would have on so many people and South Africans. So we just wanted to explain the journey we've walked with Maddison and what we've learned from Maddison and the lesson we also got out of that whole experience with Maddison, and taking her to, and Jasmine, to see the Springboks and them meeting the beast and Koo and the family, and just what we as parents got out of it and what we learned and what we keep learning from them every single day.
Yeah, so that evening our always planned to go see the Springboks at the airport, and it was sort of a last minute decision that the girls would come with. We normally try to get them to bed quite early. It was a school night, and they had a long sleep in the afternoon, so that's why I was sort of okay with the idea.
I still had anxiety. I like my routine. I'm a routine mom, but they were really into the World Cup and the rugby, and you know, they were chanting around the house, bring it home, all day, every day. So, you know, they were just as much behind the Springboks as what the rest of South Africa was. So that one day, Mom let her anxiety of not following routine go out the window. I did, however, keep Zach at home and make sure he was in bed early, but I let them go to experience something that only comes once every 12 years. So I let them go with that to experience that.
I just want to say that we never prompted any of this. We've never ever encouraged them to sort of be a hero of the beast. I don't think I was ever a hero of him. We never ever spoke about him. So it wasn't like it was something that came from us. Even her emotions and their response to the whole story, it was never prompted by us. We never pushed them, we never asked them questions. We sort of allowed them to just express themselves in this whole situation. So it was kind of weird because you know, generally parents.
You were keen to see him pimpy, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see other players at the Springboks, and Beast was the first one out, and we chased after him.
Because they wanted to see him.
So, and I didn't see any of the other Springboks, so I was actually quite upset afterwards, but I didn't want to say that. But yeah, yeah. I mean, as long as they got to experience something and they got to see him, I think that was more important than anything else.
Yeah.
I received a message one day on Facebook saying, please contact me, we saw your video, and I didn't think anything of it, so I sent a message back to the person, and they said, no, are they friends with the beast, and the beast wants to meet the little girls and wants to take us for lunch. But it was like 4 days later we actually had lunch with him.
Yeah, and the whole family, which was, Maddie's response was incredible. I mean, those of you who saw the video, she just ran up to him and gave him the biggest hug and cuddled on his lap, and she just like disappeared into him because he's such a big cuddly man. One of the cutest things was she was sitting on his lap and he asked her what's her favorite sport to watch, and she just looked up to him in his eyes and she just goes, you, which was so precious. Not what sport do you love watching, she just loves watching him.
Yeah, so we wanted to chat and express or show you our side of the story, because our journey with Maddison hasn't been as beautiful and passionate and loving as you see in one video. It's been a journey with Maddison that's, a 5-year journey, which has been for us at times heartbreaking, painful, scary.
I've spent very many times on the floor crying because I've been just at my wit's end, not knowing what to do. Have I failed as a mom with her? So yeah.
So those emotions that you see are real. They're not just brought up. They're something within her, and that's something I think that we've learned with Maddison. But at times there've been tantrums of her lying on the floor screaming for 2 hours, just screaming, and we don't even know why. We can't even get an answer. We don't know how to deal with it. We've tried to be hard on her, we've tried to be soft on her, we've tried to ignore her, we've tried almost everything that a parent...
All the different parenting techniques to deal with tantrums.
Yeah.
And that's what brought us to...
Pulling her hair out, screaming, and this was while we're dealing with 2 other kids at the same time. So you're trying to get 2 other kids to sleep, and the other one, Maddison, just screams for 2 hours. As a parent, you just eventually throw up your hands and say, I don't even know what to do anymore. At one point we just got so desperate that we didn't know what to do anymore. And after some advice, we took her to see a therapist.
Play therapist.
Yeah.
I think for me, her having that one-on-one time with a play therapist was what she needed, because as much as we gave them their one-on-one time, she needed a lot more. And it didn't matter who she was getting that special one-on-one time from, she just needed it. So that's, from my side, I felt like it was important for her to have that. But just getting extra help from the play therapist on what she got out of those play therapy sessions with Maddison, on Maddison's personality and how to deal with different situations with Maddison that would help us parent her better and help her express herself better, really just changed the whole dynamic of our home. She still does have her outbursts, but we as parents are able to just calmly respond to her instead of just like completely breaking down and not knowing what to do in the moment.
Yeah. Initially my thinking was that the therapist would find something within Maddison or trying to help her control her emotions. And I think over time it sort of became clear to me that it wasn't necessarily just about Maddison controlling her emotions, it was about us understanding those emotions and hearing her out for her emotions, and sort of learning how to engage with her on her emotions, not ignoring her emotions or trying to suppress her emotions.
By going to this play therapist and having our one-on-one parent time with her, getting feedback and stuff, she's, the one thing she said to us, which we were so fearful of, is that we were doing something wrong. I was like, tell me what I'm doing wrong as a mom. That was the one thing for me, is that we weren't doing anything wrong, but that every child is different. So we need to just be aware that we can't expect every child to be the same. And that's something that we also realized, is that, Jasmine was 2.5 when Maddison was born, and she was still little. We still cuddled her to sleep until she was 4.5, 5 years old. We still helped her with a lot of things, and as she got older and to a point of being able to do things on her own, Maddison wanted to do all of those things because she saw her big sister doing it on her own. So as Jasmine got older and the expectation on her, because she was reaching that age of being able to do those things, and Maddison wanting to do it, we just kind of started expecting Maddison to do those things. And then that's where I think our frustration started coming in, is because then sometimes she was like, but I'm still little and I can't do it. And we're like, no, but you must do it. You're old enough now. And we kind of just expected her to be like Jasmine. And that's what seeing this play therapist just like reminded us, that she is actually still little. And when Jasmine, who is 2.5 years older than her, was her age, we were still doing those things for Jasmine. And even though she can sometimes do those things for herself, if she asks us to do them for her, we don't need to be hard on her, because it's just, she still needs us and she still needs to be little, and every child is different. I mean, Jasmine is our textbook child, like sleeping through from young age. She is very emotional, and she feels emotions, but she's very responsive to discipline, and she responds quickly, and she is your textbook child. She apologizes quickly, she is remorseful. Then we've got Zach, who's just a clown about everything. And then you've got Maddison. So every child is different, and you've just got to adapt to every child and allow your kids to be different. In a world that's ever changing, we've got to allow kids to be different and allow them each to express themselves in the way that they are, because if we all put them in the same box, we're going to walk around with robots and zombies.
I think the greatest lesson out of this whole thing with Beast was that we need to allow our kids to express their emotions and give them the freedom to do that. So often we try and suppress emotions, especially with someone like Maddison, whose emotions are very extravagant. It can be frustrating when you're in a shop and she starts throwing a tantrum because she wants a sweet, and then she starts crying, and it all goes haywire. But there's nothing wrong with those emotions. It's how we deal with those emotions that is important. And I'm not a very emotional person. I don't express my emotions at all. So for me, it's also been sort of a lesson of learning how to express my emotions more, and that it is important to express your emotions and to feel emotions, and that those emotions aren't right or wrong. They're just there, but it's important that you get those out and you express them. You know, if you feel passionate about something, or if you feel sad about something, to express those emotions, not just hold it within yourselves, which is, I think, a lot of times what parents try and do to their kids, is we try and tell kids to hold emotions in and suppress them.
And I think also a big thing that we've learned is, and that I've learned from all of this, is just allowing them to be kids, you know. And this is something that, well, actually the Beast's wife and I were sitting talking while we're having lunch, and all 5 of our kids were running around, screaming, shouting, playing hide and seek, playing tag. I mean, they're between the ages of 2 and 8 years old, and we were at a restaurant having lunch, and they were running around and they were being kids. When our kids are running around shouting and expressing their emotions and, you know, throwing a tantrum at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night when you're all out for family dinner, and they start showing their emotions and being unruly, it's not because they're misbehaving, it's because they're actually tired and they're 7-year-olds and they actually should be in bed. And what we do is just to make our lives easier, is give them an iPhone or an iPad to play with. And I came across this quote the other day, which was so true, and it, like this, or I'm sure to a lot of people. By offering children limitless digital babysitters, we are rewiring their brains to expect instant gratification, high levels of stimulation, and view reality as boring. It is still reversible. Turn off devices and spend time with your children. And I think that's the crux of it all, is that when they're bored and they don't get what they want when they want it, the tantrums, the fighting, and all of that starts. And so many children now in OT with psychologists, all of these problems are arising, ADD, ADHD, all on Ritalin, because we're giving them instant gratification with social media and stuff. And I think we need to stop. We need to spend time with our children and let our children be children. And that's what we've learned as parents.
And I also think that as parents, we forget that life has changed from when we were kids to what it is now. Like going to a restaurant at night, you can so easily get frustrated because your kids are going mad within a restaurant and you're telling them to behave themselves. But I mean, unfamiliar environment. When we were kids, we never went to restaurants. Restaurants weren't open as much as they were nowadays. So it was a totally different environment. We were at home in bed or playing at home with toys, whereas now they're in a restaurant, they can't run around. We don't have parenting right. We make mistakes all the time,
Like I said earlier, like I've spent many, you can ask Michael, hours sitting on the bedroom floor crying and going, have I failed? I'm excited to enter this new season and this new chapter, and just from this whole response with the Beast and seeing Maddison's total raw emotions and love from where she was a couple of years ago, it's just so exciting to see how far she's come. And as parents, taking a step back, we can see the change in our child, and that's exciting because we've made changes in parenting, and that's what we're encouraging you to do.
So we really want to encourage you as parents, that no matter how hard parenting gets, because it is hard and it is tough, and it's difficult with kids, especially young kids, to try and understand them at times. But we just want to encourage you to just continue doing what you're doing, to really be faithful, to put your kids first, and also to listen to them, listen to their language, listen to the way they talk, and try and understand them. So often we can just overlook our kids, and we can sort of try and suppress what they're trying to express, because our lives are busy and we're trying to do what we need to do, and we've got to get work done, and we've got to get kids to bed, and we've got to get homework done and all that stuff, and life becomes a pressure, and we miss out on what our kids are really saying to us. And I think that's what we always sort of want to encourage you from this thing, is to just listen to your kids, to hear them express their emotions and tell you how they feel. And
put your phones down, turn your phones off. That's something we try so hard to do. Like our little Zach at 2.5 years old, he'll come up to us and he's like, put your phone down, put phone down, put phone down, because he wants to engage with us. And we're just trying to answer emails but listen to them when they're asking that, because they need something from you. So
put your phone down now and go spend time with the kids.
Yeah.